The problem child is here. Give it up, everybody, for Jake Paul. What's up, man?
What's up, Jake Paul?
What's up, guys? How are you?
Good to hear from you, man. I got to ask you right away. What is it about boxing that needed Jake Paul so much? Because is it just that you bring the hype that no one in the current boxing landscape is bringing, or what?
Yeah, I think the content, the shit talk, and then just backing everything up. You know, I say a lot of things, but then I knock people out, and that's what the fans want to see. They don't want to see boring fights like Floyd Mayweather that go 12 rounds.
Well, that's the truth.
They want to see knockouts, and that's what I'm delivering.
If you didn't back it up, nobody would care, so props to you. Again, Covino and Rich with Jake Paul. Were you always an ass kicker, man? When did this all happen? When did it all click for you, and why? I don't know that story before we talk about the fight.
I've always been competitive. You know, I've always been involved in sports and a really high-level athlete. I can run a 4.4-second 40-yard dash. A lot of these people don't know these things about me. So I've always been competitive. I've always been strong, and that's why when I stumbled into boxing, it was a perfect fit.
Jake, Conor McGregor earlier said that you're a nobody. And
from Nowhereville.
From Nowhereville.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to Conor McGregor? Because I would be the first person to buy this fight, because I think most people would love to see either one of you get knocked down. So no matter who you're rooting for.
By the way, high money fight, $75 to $100 million fight if that were to happen.
What's your message to Conor when he says something like that?
Win a fight. You know, put the bottle down. He hasn't won a fight in 5 years, so he could say everything he wants, but the dude's an alcoholic, and he claims to be a fighter. So first and foremost, drink some calcium, get some milk, your bones keep on breaking, and then once your body's intact, I'm going to break it again.
Fair to say you're pretty confident. If you get in the ring with Conor McGregor, who wins?
Me, easily. Big W. He's not going to jump into the ring with me. I know he knows that, too. Once I take down Nate Diaz, man, he's not going to want the smoke.
Deep down inside, too much to lose for a guy like Conor? You think he's ducking you because if he does lose, he'll be humiliated?
Exactly. There's a lot for him to lose and way more for me to gain at this point. So we'll see what ends up happening, but maybe since he spends his money too much, we'll end up fighting one day because he's going to need the money.
Well, we'd all benefit from that. Let's make that happen. Let's talk about Hasim Rahman Jr. August 6th at the Garden. You guys sparred in 2020. We've seen video surface of a beef. You guys were fighting behind the scenes. What was that about? And then I want to know how much you improved in those 2 years. So what was that about, that beef you guys had back then?
He just kept on saying, you're a YouTuber, you'll never be a professional fighter, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. You're never going to be anything. And he was just mad the whole entire time. And there's been a lot of animosity since.
But was he mad and frustrated because you were keeping up with him? Like, were you keeping up with him at that time?
Yeah, I was keeping up with him, and I think that's what was frustrating him. And over the past 2 years, I've gotten 10 times better. The fighter who I was then, I would knock that fighter out. So that's why I believe in myself in taking this fight. I know it's a tough challenge. I know he's really good.
Right.
But he's not better than me.
Jake Paul with Covino and Rich. Jake, do you think it sort of helps or hurts, or both, that you are an influencer? Because there's a lot of people like, fight a real boxer. This guy he's a YouTube kid. It helps you with the promo because you got fans. But do you think you need to work even harder to get respect?
Maybe. I mean, yeah, kind of. But I'm just doing me, man. I'm just making a ton of money and having fun along the way. So, you know, the respect doesn't pay the bills. The bills are paid by the pay-per-view sales and buys. So that's what I'm more focused on.
Is it a win-win for Jake Paul? You said the money, but even if you lose and you show up and fight well, that's still a win for you, no? Being that he's a boxer and a good boxer. So who's next after that?
Yeah, look, I've always won in life, no matter what the circumstances are. I've never taken an L. So whatever life deals with me, I turn it into a positive. But after this, you know, people won't be able to say anything. I know I'm going to go in there and knock them out inside of 5 rounds, and then there'll just be another person on the chopping block after that.
Jake Paul with Covino and Rich. I know you got to run, but let me ask you, of all the brothers in sports entertainment, you and your brother, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Who compares? Like, who is it? The Manning brothers, the Canseco's, the Contreras brothers, the Klitschko's? Like, do you guys feel like you're top tier brothers?
Man, that's a good question. I don't really know. I haven't really considered
the Mario
it,
brothers.
but I guess so. Like, making those comparisons, it is pretty crazy where we've gotten, and we're still just really young. So I think we have a long way to go in our careers, and yeah, we look up to a lot of those brothers, and we just want to do stuff differently and have fun along the way.
Hey, Jake Paul, thanks for the time. By the way, do you think Derek Jeter gave girls gift baskets back in the day? Because that was the big story today. Do you believe that he never did?
I have no idea. I don't even know about that story.
Okay. All right. Just figure you might have some insight. Thank you, brother. Jake Paul, Hasim Rahman Jr., that is happening
August 6th at the Garden, man.
Thanks, bro.
I'm tuning in. Thanks for your time. The problem child, Jake Paul. I got some thoughts about this fight. Because the first time you heard about the Paul brothers fighting, it was just some YouTube Logan Paul streamed event. I remember you talking about it, Rich. Now they're at the Garden. This is big. Fighting a real fighter, so you really can't say much. A lot of us wanted the Tommy Fury name because it was a sexy name, right? A Fury. But
now we know how you feel about the Furies.
Hey, I didn't say sexy guy, even though he's a handsome fella. But Rahman Jr., he's a cruiserweight prospect, son of boxing legend Hasim Rahman. He's 12-1. And like I said at the end of that interview, this is a win-win for Jake Paul. Hear me out. Even if he loses, but fights tough, he wins. Because even more so after that, McGregor's going to call him out. Nate Diaz is going to call him out. And don't be fooled. McGregor's calling him a bum, a nobody. That's what he does when he wants to sell a fight. Okay? These guys know how to sell a fight. Say what you want about Jake Paul. The dude's intriguing, knows how to sell a fight.
I don't hate on him. A lot of people hate on the Paul brothers.
Dude, I'm a big fight fan. You know that. It's good for boxing.
I
don't
find them
care.
interesting where I think you either want to watch them get knocked out or knock someone out. I think it's like I said, if he fought Conor McGregor and that actually happened, who wouldn't love to see either Conor put him in his place, or if he knocked out Conor McGregor, how humiliated Conor McGregor would be?
Dude, it doesn't matter. He would do it. Again, it's prize fighting. That's what these guys do. They're competitive. So when you hear Conor McGregor saying he's a nobody, he's a flop, that's just trying to hype up whatever that next fight is. So what Jake Paul has to do in this fight, and there's a chance he could win, is just show up and fight tough. That would solidify, get this, and I said it, a $75 to $100 million payday. You're going to tell me that Conor McGregor's too good for that? That's a lot of proper number 12 whiskey to sell. I'm telling you, he would take that fight.
Getting feedback on Twitter. Dan Peterson hit us up saying, Rahman's legit.
He is. Again, he's got boxing in his blood, too.
Jake Paul's going to have to fight his best to come close to getting the W.
And there's animosity there. You know, from years ago, before this fight was ever even a thing. So there's legitimacy there. He did his best with finding an actual boxer to step in with. So I'm excited about it. As a fight fan, I'm excited about it. So I'll be checking it out August 6th. Thanks again to Jake Paul.